Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to SMU's Moody Coliseum as we get ready for what should be a dynamite showdown here. A pair of district champions squaring off in the second round of the Class 6A Region 1 playoffs. Plano East taking on Lake Highlands. Very pleasant good evening and welcome to the campus of SMU. Thomas Lee here with you along with Keith Whitmire. What should be a really fun, entertaining, high-octane ball game here tonight, Keith.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you really know you're in the playoffs when you're in an atmosphere like this. Playing at a college venue instead of a typical high school gym, it just gives a different feel. It's a doubleheader. Plano and Highland Park will be playing after this, so their crowd will be getting into this game as well. This is just really what it's all about when you get to the playoffs. This is why you lift them weights, as they say.
Ready to jump this thing off, Corey Upkins, number 0 for Plano East. Samson Alaton, number 10 for the Wildcats. Lake Highlands in red, Plano East in white. Here's Michael Hill. Toss it over quickly in the front court. Mizell goes in off glass, no good. Rebound snatched down by Upkins, and then he shuffled his feet after he came down with it. So a quick press from the Panthers, the 11th ranked team in the latest TABC state rankings. And now they're on defense as the Wildcats will bring it across. Alaton high on the right side. Trey Johnson now with a handoff. Here's Washington stopping, popping. That's a three-pointer, and that's good.
That's a good start for Lake Highlands. They know they're comfortable in this gym. I know before the game a couple of days ago, Coach Joe Duffield was a little worried that they didn't have the high school three-point stripe. Well, they've added that now. Not that Lake Highlands shooters toe the line at all.
Brewington kicks it into the corner. This is Miller. Cross-court pass to Mizell. Leading scorer slashes in, kicks it out. Free throw line jumper for Upkins. Back iron and rattles through. First 2 points for Plano East, courtesy of the 6'6 senior Corey Upkins. Perkins with the crossover. Spin move all the way in. Left hand layup. Can't stay in. Rebound tracked down by Miller. Xavier Miller into the front court. Goes to the elbow. Lobs it underneath. Tap in and it's blocked against the glass by Samson Alaton. Wildcats back the other way. Johnson up top. College three, NBA three, no good. Alaton with yet another rebound. Sets a screen. Perkins three-pointer. Splashes it in.
He is feeling it. He had a great game against Bowie, and he's still on that streak right now.
Team high 26 points, 4 3-pointers in the bi-district win against Bowie. It's his first three tonight. 2 3-pointers, 1 for Washington, 1 for Perkins. Lake Highlands with a 6-2 lead. Off the side iron, no good. Rebound, tracked down. Washington pushing it. Dishes it to Johnson on the right wing, working against Mizell.
They had the score wrong here in Moody. I think the scorekeeper wasn't used to which team was which, so now they got it corrected.
Little floater on the baseline. Johnson's got his first 2. The 6'4 junior only had 12 points in the bi-district win, but didn't really slow down the Wildcats much as they won at 81-43 over the Bowie Volunteers.
And if Trey Johnson can penetrate like that, they're going to have a nice night here for Lake Highlands.
Drive and kick, 3-pointer for Tran. Off the side, no good, and goes out of bounds. That'll be Lake Highlands ball.
Now that's not typical for Tran. He's the one shooter for Plano East that can get hot and maybe impact the game with his shooting.
Team high 75 3-pointers on the season for Tran. That's 26 more than second place in Isaiah Brewington.
That's just a case of nerves and not being used to the sight lines here at Moody.
Beyond the arc, Perkins driving in on Miller, stopping, popping, elbow jumper, front iron, no good. Tran with the rebound. to Mizell. Tries to cross over. It was tapped, kept alive. He's doubled. Loose on the side, stolen away. All the way to the rim. Layup is good. Great pressure defense as Perkins finishes it off. He's got 5. Timeout Plano East. We haven't even played 3 minutes, and it's already a 10-2 Wildcat advantage.
Well, they're letting the Lake Highlands defense play the way it likes to play, reaching in and forcing turnovers. That didn't always happen in the bi-district game against Arlington Bowie, but if Lake Highlands have continued to allow to play that tough defense, in-your-face defense, it's going to bode well for the Wildcats. The Panthers are going to have a hard time getting the ball up court.
Pause in the action. We want to thank some of the proud sponsors of high school broadcasts on Champion Sports Radio and the NFHS Network. Thank you to Infinity Solar USA. Homeowners, have you ever considered owning your own power by going solar? Then contact Infinity Solar USA, a locally owned and operated company who has helped thousands of homeowners become their own power company by going solar. Call 469-868-4164. That's 469-868-4164. Get your exclusive discount and a free solar savings report. Infinity Solar USA. 5 for Perkins. Washington has 3. Johnson with 2. There's the 10 points for Lake Highlands. 2 points for Upkins, the lone scorer for the Panthers thus far. Now a press being put on by Lake Highlands after the timeout. Good job breaking the press. Brewington drives and kicks it on the edge to Miller. Back up top to Mizell around the horn. Fake on a shot by Tran. Nice bounce pass on the block. Fadeaway jumper, no good. Rebound follow is there. And Mizell is hacked in the act. He'll go to the charity stripe to shoot 2.
No surprise Lake Highlands goes to a press coming out of the timeout, because just going into the timeout, Plano East committed a turnover thanks to the defensive pressure. It's sort of like a shark smelling blood in the water. Lake Highlands is only going to get more pressure on Plano East the more they continue to turn it over.
First free throw in and out, no good for Mizell. Leads the team, 12.8 points. Team leader in rebounds at 6.8 as well.
We have a raucous, rowdy crowd here tonight. This place can get loud quickly. Doesn't take a big crowd here to get loud here in Moody Coliseum.
Second free throw up and good for Mizell. That's his first. It's now a 7-point lead for Lake Highlands as they have the ball and bring it across the timeline. Driving all the way in, shot put up, contact, no call. Tran with the rebound, up ahead to Brewington. To the right side, three-point launch by Miller, in and out, no good. Rebound knocked out, last touch by Brewington, and it'll be Lake Highlands ball.
That last offensive possession for Lake Highlands, you saw the physicality of Plano East. If there's one advantage they might have clearly, if you check out the boxes, they're probably a more physical team than Lake Highlands. And Plano East is supplying a little bit of backcourt pressure, but nothing the Wildcats can handle.
Long three-pointer launch, splashing it through. Nothing but net for Trey Johnson. Tied for the team high with 5 with Perkins now. Both of them with a three-pointer and a 2-point bucket. Driving in on Hamilton is Miller. Step back, wants to answer with his own 3. Side iron, no good. Rebound fought for and ripped away by Perkins. King the fast break for the Wildcats. Nice lead behind. Three-pointer launch. Washington. Side iron, no good. Rebound down to Mizell. Up ahead. Knocked away. Stolen away by the Wildcats. Washington right through the team of the defense. Teardrop. Shot is good.
Lake Highlands having its way so far. 15-3 lead. Another timeout called.
The first time these two met, Lake Highlands coaching staff tell me we were firing on all cylinders. We played really well. That was a 66-49 Lake Highlands win in the Allen tournament.
It was only a 6-point game going into the fourth quarter, but as is typical of many Lake Highlands games, when they have to turn it on, they can. Plano East has 4 losses this year, 2 to Plano, both of them down to the wire, 1 in overtime. They lost to Lake Highlands, and they lost to Highland Park, who has had 3 momentous battles with Lake Highlands this year.
Yeah, if Lake Highlands fans could wave a wand, they would say, can somebody please knock off Highland Park? We don't want a third go-around with this team because they have been insanely tough. Of course, that's the second game of the doubleheader here tonight on the NFHS Network as well. 2 teams from one district and school district in Plano and Plano East, taking on 2 teams from one athletic district and almost sister schools in Highland Park and Lake Highlands. Loose down, knocked around. Alaton creates the steal. Johnson quickly the other way. Spin move and has his pocket pick by Tran. Up ahead, saved. Miller puts up the shot. and gets it to go from about 2 feet out.
He nearly lost his footing there, almost turned an ankle, but he managed to get the shot down.
15-5 the score, 10-point advantage. 3 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Johnson on the right wing. Starts to drive in. Cross him over. Top of the key three.
Oh,
in and out, no good as it rims out.
That ball went everywhere but in the basket.
DJ Hall clears the rebound. Second leading rebounder is off the bench at 9 points and 4.5 rebounds per game for the 6'6 sophomore. Brewington on the left wing leaves it up top to Tran. Right side to Miller. Trying to feed the post perhaps. Miller goes back out to the opposite wing to John Tran. Hall up top. Pass stolen. Washington headed the other way for the Wildcats. Crossover. Leaves it right side. Johnson, NBA three, and he gets it to go.
If I had to guess, Trey Johnson is going to be out to prove that last game's 12-point total was an anomaly for him. Arlington Bowie really harassed him and got in his face and double-teamed him constantly. He's out to prove that 12 points is not the normal for him.
The five-star number one consensus player in the 2024 class. 8 points in the first 6 minutes. May add more here. Passes over right side. Little scoop layup on the feed from Johnson. Washington banks it in. He's got 7.
And that's a proof Trey Johnson, not a selfish player. He could have taken that in himself. But he issued the dime there to get the 2 points for a teammate.
Hamilton almost with a steal. Mizell regains the handle. Up top, crossover, spin move. Miller stops and pops from 8. No good. Gets his own rebound. Kicks it back out. Mizell launches a 3. And that one's good. First three-pointer for Plano East. 4 points now for Mizell.
This is similar to Tuesday night's game. Bowie just got caught in an onslaught by Lake Highlands in the first quarter. Plano East, I sense the same way. They probably will settle down more in the second quarter, if not the second half.
Alaton going up strong in the post, and a foul is going to be called on DJ Hall. That's his first personal, second team foul.
Yeah, big 6'10 Samson Alaton hasn't really been a huge factor in the game. But Tuesday night, he was all over the place, making plays defensively, offensively, and tipping out steals.
First free throw for the senior center headed to Yale. Gets it to bounce around and fall in. First points for Alaton.
Lake Highlands is not getting on the line to rebound this year.
Rich Shody Kavanich checks in. So does Ethan Moss for Plano East. As they're now trying to say they weren't at the scorer's table in time. They're not used to. No, in high school, you just kind of walk in from the bench sometimes. Here at Moody, we got some of the usual suspects in the SMU crew.
Yeah, they want
sticklers for details.
Yeah, Chidiome, they wanted him to show his jersey number plainly when he goes in. They got it worked out.
Both free throws good for Alaton. Back up to a 14-point Lake Highlands lead. 65 seconds left to go here first quarter, along with Keith Whitmire. Thomas Lee here with you from SMU's Moody Coliseum. Pocket pick started by Washington. Johnson comes up with it, and then it has knocked out of his hands. Last touch, the shoe tops of Johnson. It'll be Plano East ball.
Well, they gave it up there, but that's another sign, another turnover for Plano East. I'm not sure what the turnover totals are right now, but I'm sure they're heavily on the side of Plano East.
Across the timeline is Brewington, operating on the right side with 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. Pass up top, back to the right side. Brewington picks up his dribble. Again to Moss. Back to Brewington on the right side, guarded tightly by Washington.
The entire Lake Highlands team is guarding tightly. That man-to-man is really sticking.
Three-pointer launched. Back iron no good. Pulls down the rebound. Kicked back out by Moss. Here's Brewington slashing in. Nice bounce pass underneath. Going to leave it for Hall, who puts up the shot and gets it to go. DJ Hall's first 2 points for the sophomore. 12 seconds left. So Wildcats bring it across the timeline.
Hall pleading with his teammates right there. Wants to get them fired up.
Loses the handle. Johnson, after committing the turnover, then fouls Brewington. First personal on Trey Johnson.
That little frustration foul there. Trey Johnson picked up 3 fouls quickly in the first half of Tuesday night's game. That's not usual for him either. He doesn't usually get a lot of fouls. Always stays eligible in the game.
Duffield pouring from the sideline for the Wildcats. Quickly in, not much time left, driving in. Stolen away by the great defense of Khalil Thomas, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. 22-10. Lake Highlands leading Plano East in a top 11 matchup in the state here in the second round of the playoffs. We'll head to the second quarter in just a moment. Want to thank another proud sponsor of high school broadcasts on Champion Sports Radio and the NFHS Network, and that's Energy Attic. Contact Energy Attic and transform your living spaces by transforming your attic. Energy Attic helps improve your home climate control, reducing those cold and hot pockets, making it more comfortable throughout, and saving you up to 40% on your energy bill. Schedule your free Energy Attic audit online at energyattic.com. Energy Attic, attic solutions to transform your life.
I don't know if we can mention, Thomas, Lake Highlands coach Joe Duffield is a Plano East graduate. And he and Jeff Clarkson are two coaches from Plano East that have made successful careers in high school coaching. And, of course, the Plano East coach, Matt Wester, lives in Lake Highlands, which is unusual. But as long as he doesn't take any players with him up to Plano East, I'm fine with that.
And so far, I think that's going to be safe to say. But I was talking to Coach Wester before the broadcast yesterday in our production meeting, and he goes, yeah, I coach at Plano East, live in Lake Highlands. He graduated from Plano East and coaches at Lake Highlands. It's like it's interesting how parallel, and they've also gone against each other, both freshman coaches at the same time, JV coaches at the same time, and now competing as varsity coaches. Plano East back in the playoffs after a bit of a drought. For a long time, the Panthers were pretty dominant in the high school basketball scene, but this is their first playoff appearance since 2016.
Yeah, they had Jimmy King, who's part of the Michigan 5-5, and then they had another team that went to the state Final Four. Similarly, Lake Highlands has their own Jimmy King and Trey Johnson right now, and Lake Highlands has a state title from way back in 1968 when Lake Highlands was a 3A school.
Johnson with the inbound. Alaton fakes on a pass back to him, gets into the hands of the five-star junior.
A double team there, and
whip pass stolen away by Mizell. He's going to cross over, go right in and attack. Shot off the rim, no good. Great rebound inside by Khalil Thomas.
Trey Johnson's used to being double teamed, but here in the playoffs, it's a higher quality of double team. He's just going to have to adjust to that.
Nice slashing move. Perkins trying to hit the cutting Chidiome on the baseline. They were not on the same page. So another turnover. Washington comes back in. Jair Williams also coming in as Alaton and Trey Johnson will take a seat on the bench. 45 seconds gone by here, second quarter. 12-point lead for Lake Highlands. Plano East with the ball, trying to cut into it. On the wing, Mizell tries to cross over. Perkins is playing some pretty good defense on him. Around the horn it goes to the right side. Jody Kavanagh back out into the hands of Brewington. Starts to drive in on Ome. Good defensive pressure there. Rebound tapped around, and Jair Williams comes down with it, and then he gets a little punishment for his efforts.
That defense closed quickly when he tried to penetrate there. It's really a nice defensive performance by Lake Highlands so far tonight. Their man-to-man is really working well for them.
Isaiah Brewington called for the foul, his first personal.
When you're a high-scoring team like Lake Highlands, averaging about 80 points a game, the defense often gets overlooked, but that's a big part of their game. They generate a lot of offense off their defense as well.
Driving in, teardrop shot falls through. What a great finish by Quentin Perkins. First 2 points of the second quarter for either team. Minute and a half gone by here in the second. Tran on the wing. Starts to drive towards the center of the court. Slowed down by the defense of Thomas. Into the post it goes. Hall, nice little reverse layup. Gets the finger roll to go.
That was pretty. You know, things have started to settle down a little bit, at least energy-wise here in the arena. And you look for Plano East to make a run at some point.
Perkins comes off. A screen up top, over into Washington's hands on the left side, guarded by Brewington. Crossover, step back, three-pointer launch, and hits! Washington again is second from distance. He's got double digits into 10 points now for Washington.
Well, Plano East isn't going to go a run if they can't stop Lake Highlands. And as long as the Wildcats can jack up threes like that with a high success rate, that's not going to happen.
Spin move by Xavier Miller. Swiping at it is Thomas. Forces a loose ball, and they're going to say it's a jump ball. Great defensive intensity there. Started by Thomas and then dive into the court Jair Williams. Alaton and Trey Johnson checking back in. Khalil Thomas and Chidi Ome back to the bench for Lake Highlands.
Wildcats, their star player and their big man both got a breather, so let's see how they improve with those guys in the game.
Pump fake, Malone drives in, bounce to the baseline. Mizell kicks it back up top, outside Tran for a three-pointer. Front iron, no good. Rebound ripped down by Johnson. Spins away, gets it up ahead on the fast break. All the way in, wraparound pass, Allerton, two-hand jam!
You like the teamwork there. Gave up the ball to the big man. Made the defender commit. Easy jam for Samson Alaton.
Slow down up top, whip pass into the paint. Hall cuts to a cutting Malone. Launches a three-pointer left side for Mizell. That's no good. Rebound pulled down. Outside Hall tries to spin away, kicks it back out. Three-pointer launch. Tran an air ball. Malone with the rebound to keep it alive. Fakes on a shot. Three-pointer launch. Tran again. Rimmed out, no good. And the pass ahead for Alaton. He is hacked in the act.
Plano
Hall going to be called for a foul.
Yeah, Plano is really struggling from long range. They did have a nice mid-range jumper earlier from Hall, but it doesn't seem to be a big part of their offense. But they might need to try to work that in because right now they're just not seeing the basket well from long range.
Warren Hamilton checking back in for Lake Highlands or Jair Williams. So the five starters back on the court, and Washington loses the handle out of bounds on the pass from Johnson. So Washington, Perkins, Hamilton, Alaton, and Johnson out there for Lake Highlands.
Rare unforced error for the Wildcats, who have played brilliantly so far.
Upkins, Mizell, Miller, Tran, and Malone out there on the court for Plano East. Ball loose on the ground, fought for, tapped around, and finally pulled out by Perkins. He's going to lead the fast break. Off the glass and gets it to go. Great attacking move. 9 points now for Perkins in the ball game.
A real lapse in ball security there by the Panthers. You can't do that, especially against a team like Lake Highlands that can reach in and grab so quickly.
Left side three, Miller gets it to go. 5 points now for Miller. Creates a significant drought for Plano East as they're within 16 here, halfway through the second quarter. Alaton at the elbow, calling everybody off. Starts to drive in, turns, little baby hook, gets it to go. Beautiful footwork for Samson Alaton.
That was some advanced play right there. That's high-level post play there by Samson Alaton.
Whip pass, Malone gets it back up top. Three-pointer launch, Miller, that's an air ball. It goes that save back in, but he was standing out of bounds when he saved it. And the Wildcat student section, quick to remind,
yes,
Panther shooters when they don't at least draw iron on their shots.
And it is a large student section for Lake Highlands here on the west end of the arena here. Plano East has a representative group, but looks like every kid in Lake Highlands showed up. This arena is getting filled up pretty well, and we've still got another game to go. When the crowds for Plano and Highland Park show up, this place is going to be really packed.
Strip, great play by Upkins. Up ahead right side, Mizell stops, open three-pointer, back iron, no good. Rebound, putback is up and good for Brewington.
They are going to clear the student sections when the game's over so that the next two teams' fans can take the prime seats behind the basket.
Elbow jumper, too strong for Johnson. Rebound cleared by Brewington. Miller across the timeline, gets his screen, hands it off to Mizell. Guarded by Washington, comes off a screen, kicks it left side to Brewington, deep into the corner now to Miller, and they'll work it back out. Brewington slowing it back out, calling for a different play. Miller on the wing, back up top to Mizell.
Need to see more of that patience out of Plano East. They seem to be rushed ever since this game tipped off.
Miller drives in, little hop step, tries to leave it, picked off. Great job by Washington getting to the passing lanes, and he'll slow things down. 2.5 minutes left to go here in the first half.
And yet another turnover of Plano East. Turnovers and missed three-pointers have been killing the Plano East Panthers so far.
Lob it down on the box. Johnson. Double team comes. He kicks it back out. Three-point launch. Washington. Back iron no good. Rebound snatched down by Upkins. That's great position for the senior, Corey Upkins, to get that board. Brewington starts a drive, retreats. Hamilton applies the pressure defensively. Back to Brewington on the wing. Crosses over, kicks back out. John Tran trying to find some space. Drives inside the three-point line, puts up a shot, and that one's good. His first bucket of the ball game.
If John Tran can get warmed up, we might have a little more competitive contest because he's certainly capable of doing that.
Inside of 100 seconds to go, driving in Perkins, stopping, popping, three-pointer, splashes through.
You know, that's the problem with playing Lake Highlands. Every time you do something well, Lake Highlands does something even better. It's the mark of a quality team there, I'll tell you.
3 different players for Lake Highlands, each with 2 3-pointers, Washington, Perkins, and Johnson.
They are a tough out, as they say.
Tran with a pounce pass down low, knocked on the ground by Alaton. Then the pass intended for Brewington is picked off by Johnson. Hamilton driving, kicking into the corner. Washington goes cross court. Perkins just hit a 3, wants another. Side iron, no good. Rebound controlled by Xavier Miller.
Now we're under a minute to go in the half.
Starts to drive in, Brewington. Back up top to Upkins, around to the left side to Miller. Almost stolen away. Brewington keeps it alive. High elbow, Upkins. Up top now, Miller. Back out beyond the arc to Tran. And a 3-second call against Plano East is going to create a turnover. And Lake Highlands will have the ball with 33.4 seconds left here in the half.
Well, give another smiley face on the Lake Highlands defensive grading sheet there. The defense has really been remarkable tonight.
Washington with a little give and go from Perkins, and now Jalen Washington, the 5'11 junior guard, with an offer to UNT. Brings it across the timeline. Warren Hamilton, the senior, hands off. Quentin Perkins comes off an Alaton screen, starts to drive in, loses it. Picked off by Moss. Moss trying to drive in. 10 seconds left here in the half. Loose and now stolen away by Perkins.
Oh, my.
And then right back into the hands of Mizell, who knows what to do with it. He's got 6 now with that one. Three-quarter court. One-arm heave by Perkins is going to be short, and that's going to be the score at the half. 38-19. Lake Highlands on top. Doubling up Plano East.
I'll tell you, Lake Highlands coach Joe Duffield is not happy with that turnover in the backcourt there that ended up costing Lake Highlands a field goal. Not a good way to end the half for Lake Highlands, which otherwise was brilliant.
Thank you to another proud sponsor of high school broadcasts on Champion Sports Radio and the NFHS Network, and that's Whirly Ball. Corporate events, team building, private parties, they're just more fun when you're zipping around in a whirly bug, and they have the most affordable laser tag in town. With 2 locations serve you, Plano and Hurst. Visit them online at whirlyball.info for more information. We'll step aside for a break. We'll be back in about 9.5 minutes to get you started for the second half. Right now, it's Lake Highlands with a 38-19 lead over the Plano East Panthers in this area round showdown. This is a Champion Sports Radio power production on the NFHS Network. And welcome back to Dallas, Texas, campus of Southern Methodist University, the recently renovated Mooney Coliseum, the host of a wonderful showdown doubleheader tonight of area-round basketball action. Thomas Lee here with you, Keith Whitmire alongside as well. Connor Whitmire on camera duty. We appreciate his efforts. We appreciate all you tuning in and watching from wherever you're watching, around the town, around the state, around the country, around the world. We appreciate you making Champion Sports Radio and the NFHS Network part of your high school playoff experience. Keith, I don't know if there could have been a better start for Lake Highlands. The Avalanche for the Wildcats, they've ridden now to a 15-point halftime lead. The real question becomes, this Plano East bunch is not going to back down from anybody. How bad do they need a quick start here to start the second half?
I don't know if you can measure that, how bad. We saw Tuesday night Arlington Bowie played much better in the second half once the pressure was off. I might expect you see the same out of Plano East. They're not a team that gets beaten by double digits very often. They're a very hard-fought team.
Fadeaway jumper, Johnson right out of the timeout for halftime. Buries the 18-footer. It's a 10-point game now for Johnson, and the lead back up to 17.
Whatever Plano East does, though, they're going to have to play a little bit better defense somehow on Trey Johnson and Quentin Perkins and crew. They're still giving up wide-open shots.
Plano East with the ball in the white jerseys. Lake Highlands in the red. Three-pointer launched by Miller. That's no good. Good job tracking out the rebound by Brewington. Cross-court kick-out was deflected by Washington. It'll still be Plano East ball in front of their own bench.
Plano East was plagued by misses from the three-point range in the first half, and they started out that way again here in the second half.
Alley-oop, great job of defensive positioning by Perkins, who steals it away.
Kind of telegraphed that pass, and Quentin Perkins, smart player.
All the way in, finger roll finish, great screen for the helper by Alaton.
Now Lake Highlands is at the 40-point mark with 6:50 left in the third quarter.
Quickly into the post to Upkins, back out. Good ball movement, back to Upkins, blocked by Alaton. Nice follow finish by Mizell. Leading scorer averages nearly 13 a game, 8 points now in the contest. Johnson trying to back in Mizell. Goes to the free throw line jumper, and that one's good. Net hardly moves as Johnson now has 12, equaling his output in the by-district win over Bowie. Mizell starts to drive baseline. Great defense by Johnson, cutting it off. Up top to Upkins, into the hands of John Tram. Back to the right side, Miller. Low dribble, nice crossover. Pocket picked, here we go the other way. Perkins leading the charge with his defense. Goes all the way in, puts it off glass and gets it to go. 16 now for Quentin Perkins, leading all scorers.
Quentin Perkins had an amazing game Tuesday night. He's continued that now. That kid is hot.
Nice bounce pass, and this one is blocked on the way down. They're going to call goaltending on Alaton.
Well, not many people are good enough to have the skill to make that kind of a goaltending. So even though it's a 2 points for Plano East, it's a feather in the hat of sense in Alaton.
Alaton with a high screen. Driving in, kicking corner, three-pointer. Hamilton, back iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Brewington. Brewington across the timeline. Stops at the top of the key. Working it around left side, Xavier Miller. Crossing over Washington, goes baseline, puts up a shot. Big block by Perkins. A late whistle coming from the reach over. That's going to be on Perkins.
Perkins is arguing that he was vertical, but the ref said you had your arms over him. Yeah, he did sweep down with both arms.
So that'll send Xavier Miller to the line. Second leading scorer on the team. In fact, the only other person besides Mizell who averages double-digit points per game. But this is an extremely balanced Plano East team. If you're wondering where the points are going to come from, the answer really is everyone.
It's also a very young Plano East team. Only 2 seniors on the roster. They're going to be back here next year for sure.
Free throw up and good for Miller. He's got 6 points. That was something that Coach Wester and I talked about. Some of these guys over in the far eastern part of the Plano ISD boundary area went to Murphy Middle School. So many of them played together at Murphy and been on the same team now all the way to this junior year. He said, A lot of people have been pointing to next year when they're all seniors. He goes, I'm enjoying every second I have with this special group.
Well, there's no doubt. That's what it takes sometimes, a special group like Highlands has right now. But what's unique about Lake Highlands is they have a 6'10 center.
NBA three for Trey Johnson.
And 6'10's collegiate center to go with their 5-star and their other 3 stars.
Cross court, great pass to Brewington, drives and kicks back out, open three-pointer launch, and that one falls through for Mizell, who's starting to heat up. 5 in the quarter, 11 in the game.
Because unless somebody has a great growth spurt over the summer or somebody moves in, Lake Highlands won't have quite that interior height next year.
Johnson on the wing, long 2-point shot at the baseline, nothing but net again. And just like that, Johnson with a 9-point third quarter in 3.5 minutes.
He's just impossible to guard one-on-one.
What a run. Back up by 19 now, Lake Highlands with 4:31 to go here in the third quarter. I want to thank Greenleaf Roofing for supporting these broadcasts. Greenleaf Roofing is DFW's preferred roofing company and the official roofing company of Champion Sports Radio. Family owned and operated, Greenleaf Roofing is the #1 choice for all your roofing needs. Residential, multifamily, commercial, storm restoration. They do it all, and they have a ton of lifelong customers. Find out why and get a free quote by visiting greenleaf-roofing.com.
Well, the formula of Plano East needed to get back into this thing just isn't working right now. Normally, you've got to get points on defense, and you've got to start hitting big shots. And they're still struggling there in those categories.
It's a resilient bunch, though.
Oh, yeah, it's not over, that's for sure, with Plano East. They tied Plano 12-2, equal records in the district, but Plano won both head-to-head matches to get the #1 seed. But one was a 1-point overtime game, the other one was a buzzer beater. They were just razor close to beating Plano this year.
So the co-champions in 6-6A taking on the first and second place teams out of 7-6A in this area doubleheader here at SMU.
Plano East efforts against Plano is similar to Highland Park against Lake Highlands. 3 very tough competitive games, and Lake Highlands has come out on top in all 3 of them.
Brewington into the front court, working against Johnson. To Miller on the left wing. Nice bounce pass down low, and the finish left-hand layup for DJ Hall. Great slashing move by the 6'6 sophomore.
I've really been impressed with Hall. He shows a lot of maturity around the basket, and he's not rattled at all.
Washington on the right wing. Thomas has this one deflected, going the other way. Jordan Mizell leading the break, takes it all the way in himself. Left-hand layup off glass, good.
There's those points off defense I was saying Plano East is going to need to get back into this game.
7 points in the quarter now for Mizell, 13 in the game. All the way in, Johnson loses it.
Another turnover. Lake Highlands can't afford to get sloppy, or this will be a close game, lickety split.
And a three-pointer hit for Brewington. He's got 5, and just like that, a quick 7-0 run for the Plano East Panthers to get right back in this thing in the last minute.
Yeah, now it's down to a 12-point lead for Lake Highlands. 3:36 left third quarter. Lots of time left. Lots of time left in this one to get tight.
We mentioned Plano East in the playoffs for so many years, routinely driving deep. In fact, when Jeff Clarkson came over and brought Matt Wester from Naaman Forest, they won 2 district titles, went to the regional quarterfinals in 16, deeper run to the regional semis in 13, and went to the playoffs 3 times in their first 6 years. Then a bit of a dry spell, winless in district in 17. Clarkson said, "Thank you very much, I'm going to head out of town." Wester said, "I'll gladly take over," and he's been rebuilding things, as coaches say, brick by brick ever since.
Well, Plano East has always been considered sort of a sleeping giant athletically. They've struggled to have the state titles that Plano and other schools have had, but they've had a lot of success. It's a great neighborhood, a very diverse, success-oriented community. There's no reason Plano East may one day just start ruling everything. Just got to have that right combination of kids and coaching.
Norette Shody Kavanagh out there along with Jordan Mizell, Isaiah Brewington. Xavier Miller and DJ Hall for Plano East. Back within 12 with 3:36 to go in the third quarter.
It's an important period for Lake Highlands. They've given up a little bit of their lead now, and they can't get sloppy and allow Plano East on this run and build more confidence.
Johnson up top. Calling off the screen from Jair Williams. Between the leg, goes up for a three-pointer, contested, maybe partially blocked. Rebound, Hall, Panthers the other way.
There's definite contact there.
Pass to the right side, Miller starts to drive in, crosses over, dishes back out, three-pointer launched. Back iron no good for Shakavinik.
Great rebound by Jair Williams, great positioning.
Perkins across the timeline, nice crossover, slashing through. Little floater, rims around and falls in. 18 now for Perkins.
Lake Highlands at the 51-point mark now.
Hall way out. This one's stolen away. Great swipe by Perkins. Williams picks it up. Quickly down court. Washington on the left wing. Drives all the way in. Circus shot. Can't get it to go. Williams with a rebound. Goes back in strong for the putback.
And the Lake Highlands crowd really appreciates the hard work Jair Williams has put in there to put back that shot.
Brewington all the way in, kicks it out, three-pointer launched. Miller in and out, no good. Tough rebound, ripped down by Mizell. 15-foot jumper, and that one falls through for DJ Hall, who now has 8.
There's that mid-range shot by Hall. I really think they ought to maybe go to that more often if they want to keep climbing back into this game, Plano East.
Perkins coming off 26 points the other day, has a game-high 18 right now. To Johnson on the right wing, stopping, popping, right elbow jumper, good. Johnson back in the lead. As far as point totals goes, he's got 19 now.
Trey Johnson's almost automatic from within inside the three-point line.
Trying to dump it down to Hall. They go back up top. To Shodi Kavanagh. Mizell gives it back up top. Finally bounce pass down into the paint. Hall tries to back in. Williams knocks it away. And now body contact, foul on the floor on Jair Williams.
Yeah, Jair Williams has been working hard underneath that time. He worked a little too hard and got tagged with the foul.
First personal, second team foul on the Wildcats in the second half. Quite an adjustment there. Samson Alton comes in for Warren Hamilton. 8-inch difference between those two. Great job by Hall to keep that one alive. Drive and dish. Fake on a shot. Mizell might have gotten a little help on that call. Williams rips down the rebound with authority. Then has it knocked out of his hands. Picked up by Plano East. What effort by Shodi Kavanagh. And now a jump ball, I think, is going to be the call, as both teams rally in to pick up their players off the court.
A lot of great hustle there by both teams. These are two of the better teams in the area and quality programs, and you're not going to see any quit in either one of these teams, no matter what the score is.
Officials talking about it, Michael Hill, Andrew Banner, and Keto Armstrong. They're going to call a jump ball.
Well, I was just glad they didn't call a foul there, because that was equal hustle on both sides. No advantage gained.
And clean hustle as well. Nobody throwing elbows or anything like that. Both really fighting hard, but doing it the right way.
Exactly.
Now an off-ball screen is going to result in a foul on Williams. I thought for a second they might call it on the screener in Mizell. So quick back-to-back fouls.
Now Plano East will inbound underneath the basket and see if they have a play set up for that.
Corner pocket three for Tran. That one's no good. Rebound controlled by Alaton. That long wingspan snatches it out of the air. Perkins into the front court for Lake Highlands. Johnson fakes on a shot, cross court, finds Washington. Pass back out from Williams into the hands of Perkins. Driving in, knocked away, gets in the corner. Williams gives it back to Perkins on the wing. Up top, Johnson. 30 seconds now left here in the third quarter. 16-point Lake Highlands lead.
Yeah, that big lead. Lake Highlands, no need to rush here. Take your time. Work for a good shot.
Whip pass, cross court. Williams has it. Drives baseline. 15-footer off the side of the basket. No good. Hall with the rebound. Great bounce pass from Mizell up ahead. This one blocked. Alaton, they're going to say that's goaltending again. The rich Shody Kavanagh able to get it up on the glass, then sent back. Give Kavanagh the 2 points. 12 seconds left in the quarter.
I don't believe the Lake Highlands crowd liked that call there, Thomas.
Both sides plenty vocal. Great atmosphere here for this area around.
Oh, this is great.
Doubleheader.
Great location, too. Nice college arena.
Can we just do all the games here the rest of the way?
I'm for that.
Johnson drives baseline, fading. Off the back iron, no good for the buzzer beater. He ends with 19 points in the game, 11 of them coming here in the third quarter. And it's a 14-point Lake Highlands lead as we head to the fourth quarter. You're watching a Champion Sports Radio powered production, UIL on the NFHS network. Since its establishment in 2009, Living for Zachary has impacted thousands of families by providing heart screenings for ages 12 to 22, donating AEDs to youth-based organizations, and training community members in the use of CPR, all with the goal of saving lives. Sudden cardiac arrest doesn't wait, so we can't either. Schedule your child's heart screening today. Apply for an AED for your organization or make a donation that could change a life forever. Together, we can give our children's hearts a second chance. Join the movement to save young hearts at livingforzachary.org. Thomas Lee here with you. Keith Whitmire alongside. Connor Whitmire running the camera tonight. Want to thank you watching wherever you are, around town, around the state, around the country, around the world. Number 1 team in the state, number 11 team in Plano East, taking on number 1 Lake Highlands. And so far, this back and forth nature, although it's been at arm's length, Plano East refuses to go away.
And you would expect nothing less from the Panthers, who 30-4 this year. Is that, if I'm not mistaken, that's their record. They are not often in this position of trailing by double digits most of the game, but they have still plenty of fight left in them. I'm telling you, Thomas, this place is almost full. I mean, the end zones still have some empty seats, but this place is packed up to the rafters. It's a great venue, great excitement.
Start the fourth quarter. Lake Highlands up by 14. 8 minutes away from advancing to the third round. Interesting note, Joe Duffield, as a head coach, undefeated in the area round. He's never lost.
That's very interesting.
Johnson up top, crossing over, kicking into the corner. Williams back out, three-pointer launched, and it rattles through. Perkins again, he's got 21, his third three of the night.
Well, if I had to say there was one difference in this game, Lake Highlands is making his three-pointers and Plano East isn't.
Great steal. Following up the three, Perkins with the theft, now quickly into the front court. Leaves it and saved in by Washington along the side, and now Jalen will have an opportunity. Crossover, slashing in, and is going to be fouled in the act and will head to the line to shoot two.
Interesting to see the pace Lake Highlands is playing with. Double-digit lead, 17-point lead right now. They have no need to be in any hurry. There's no shot clock in high school basketball, but I don't think they can keep themselves from attacking.
First free throw up and good for Washington. He now has 11. He was a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line.
See if you jinxed him.
That was on Tuesday.
You jinxed him.
I have no effect on the outcome of the game, sir.
The announcer jinx.
11 points now for Washington. Lead up to 18 for Lake Highlands. Tran, the last foul was called on him. He's got the ball, and he passes it back out, and we're going to get
a timeout
taken by Plano East.
It was an odd timeout in the middle of some sort of running their offense there, but you can't take them home with you. You might as well take your timeouts.
This game, a presentation of Champion Sports Radio. You're watching the UIL on the NFHS network, thanks to Infinity Solar USA. For sponsoring these broadcasts, homeowners, have you ever considered owning your own power by going solar? Then contact Infinity Solar USA, a locally owned and operated company who has helped thousands of homeowners become their own power company by going solar. Call 469-868-4164. That's 469-868-4164. Get your exclusive discount and a free solar savings report. Infinity Solar USA. On with Keith Whitmire, Thomas Lee here with you. Area round matchup. Probably the number one question I get all the time. Well, if they win, who do they play? Well, I got the answer for you. It's either Arlington Martin, the 8-6A champion, or Louisville, Fighting Farmers. They're squaring off tonight at Grapevine, another game you can watch on the NFHS network.
Arlington Martin would be a heavy favorite in that game. Louisville is sort of a surprise entry in the area around. No bigger surprise, though, than Hebron defeating Allen on Tuesday.
Not if you ask Hawk fans.
That's true.
They know that he was capable of that.
Yeah.
Crossing over, going baseline, and foul's going to be the call. Williams picks up another one. That's his third by my count. Official book has it with 3 as well. Tran trying to inbound the ball, gets it into Mizell. Nice bounce pass to the open Brewington, who puts it off glass for 2. 7 now for Isaiah Brewington.
That was a beautiful pass. Plano East is always better when they're sharing the ball, and that was a great example of that.
Perkins with a dribble handoff to Washington. Now to Williams. Plano East tried to draw a foul. Steal, though, by Tran. He's racing all the way in, slows down, puts up a shot. Fouled in the act, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Foul's going to be on Perkins.
Good clean foul on Perkins there.
Would you call that a playoff foul? Because that ball did not have that much of a chance of going in after the contact.
Yeah, it took didn't want to take any chances. But Plano East getting points off their defense.
Back iron no good on the free throw for Tran. Sharpshooter, 75 3-points makes on the year in 35 games. Hadn't hit one tonight yet. Second free throw up and good. He now has 3. Lob into Alaton. And timeout's going to be taken by Coach Duffield and the Lake Highlands Wildcats.
I don't know if Coach Duffield didn't like something he saw or he just wants to make some substitutions. We're still in a comfortable lead of 15 points here.
6:23 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Want to thank Energy Attic for sponsoring these broadcasts. Contact Energy Attic and transform your living spaces by transforming your attic. Energy Attic helps improve your home climate control, reducing those cold and hot pockets, making it more comfortable throughout, and saving you up to 40% on your energy bill. Schedule your free Energy Attic audit online at energyattic.com. Energy Attic, attic solutions to transform your life.
We ran into Scott Johnson before the game, who played here at the SMU, and Scott's an executive with Dr. Pepper, and he told me his father, Rex Johnson, is watching our broadcast all the way up in Meridian, Idaho. So I imagine Rex Johnson wins our prize for longest distance for viewing.
I haven't seen anybody from Hawaii tune in, so yeah, Idaho's probably pretty good.
Yeah, or Alaska. But, yeah.
They love their basketball in Alaska. You never know.
Yeah.
Especially with the notoriety of these two teams, a top 11 matchup in the state. I love everything the UIL does.
Oh, yeah.
But some of these area-round showdowns across all sports, man, it's tough to say one of these two teams is going home after the second round.
It is tough. And in some way, with football, because it's split, Division I, Division II, there's some bi-district matchups that are pretty unfair in a way.
Trying to break the press. Lob into Alaton. He'll give it to Washington. He'll bring it across the timeline down the left side. Now we'll slow it down. We're working a little bit of clock. Got 6 minutes and 10 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter. Hand off to Perkins, who's mugged by Brewington. Second personal on Brewington. This is a very cleanly played game for Plano East. They have not had many fouls whatsoever. That's just the second here in the second half called on the Panthers.
That Arlington Martin Louisville game, it tipped off at 7, so they're an hour behind us.
They just tipped off, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get a score, and I guess I'm not going to get one right now. If I did, it wouldn't matter.
You can flip over as soon as we're done.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the game after this one, Highland Park Plano, is going to be quite a battle. Highland Park and Plano have some legendary meetings on the football field. I think they may have one tonight in basketball as well.
long said the largest attendance for a high school football game in the state of Texas is the Plano Highland Park game in the 70s, right?
No, it was Plano and Port Neches.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But some of those Plano Highland Park Cotton Bowl showdowns in the 70s were big-time games, too. Nice lob into the high post. Alaton backs in the double team. Kicks it to Hamilton. Reverse layup. Rims out, no good. Rebound tapped up by Alaton. We're going the other way. Brewington clears it for Plano East. Bounce pass right side. Fake on a shot. Step back. 12-footer. No good for Hall. Ripped out of the hands of Johnson and knocked out by the defense of Narip Shodi Kavanagh.
DJ Hall, he's about tuckered out. He's tired. He's worked really hard. He's been a bright spot for the Panthers tonight.
They list him at 6'6", and he's not much shy of the 6'10" Alaton. He must have grown since measurements were taken back in October.
And he probably weighs more than Alaton. He's a big kid.
Hamilton on the wing. Hand off to Perkins. Inside of 5.5 we go, fourth quarter. 15-point Lake Highlands lead. They have the ball. Left-hand dribble, free throw line, kick out Washington. Three-pointer, side iron, no good. Gazelle the other way for Plano East. Kicks it left side. Jotron steps inside the line. Back iron, no good on the shot. Rebound tapped out, last touched by Lake Highlands. Perkins felt like he was interfered with on a foul. Shodi Kavanagh was in the vicinity for Plano East. No call, and it'll stay Panther ball. And now Michael Hill.
Where are our young men with the mops?
I think that's at the normal games here at Moody and maybe at the American Airlines Center, but I'm sure we can find some equivalent of ball boys in football to.
There's some young men sitting right behind us and been screaming the whole game. We could give them a mop, give them something to do.
They'd love that opportunity.
Yep.
Get on the court however they can. Left-hand dribble, starts to drive in on Johnson. Boy, close play. I thought Washington was going to get that one clean. They're going to call the foul on Jalen.
You can hear the Lake Highlands crowd not happy with that. And even 5 minutes left, though. Lake Highlands still maintaining a 15-point lead.
Typical coach speak. I know right now the last thing Coach Wester probably said is let's just get it down to single digits at the 4-minute mark. That's all we're looking for here. Baseline jumper, Mizell. Can't get that one to fall down. Rebound tapped out. Joe Tron with the rebound. Right side into the corner. Step back three-pointer. Shodi Kavanagh hits it.
That was a nice-looking shot.
Cuts the lead to 12.
I do wonder if some of the players are thrown off by the 2 3-point stripes here. They got the college stripe and the high school stripe tonight.
As long as you're behind one of them, I think you're good.
Yeah.
The blue line freshly put down for these high school playoff games.
Yeah, it was not there when SMU played Houston last week.
Hamilton back iron on the 3. Rebound tapped around. Plano East the other way. Up ahead. Shodi Kavanagh goes in, and this one is knocked out. They're going to call a foul, though, on Perkins. That'll be his third.
Yeah, he's disagreeing with the ref there. You're probably going to get called for that, though, in that situation.
Trey Johnson calling the Wildcats together in the defensive paint before the free throw from the rich Shodi Kavanagh. Trying to get everybody to refocus as the first free throw's in and out, no good.
Coach Joe Duffield just gave one of the officials a lecture on officiating during that free throw. I'm sure these guys don't need it, though. Got a very good crew tonight.
Second free throw is good. 6 points now for Shodi Kavanagh. It's an 11-point game. Like Highlands with the lead in the ball. Johnson with the dribble, working on Shodi Kavanagh. Brings it across the timeline. Hesitation. Explodes to the basket. Teardrop off the glass. No good. Rebound ripped down. Brewington the other way for Plano East. Bounce pass into the paint. Hall. Hop step. Gets the reverse layup to go. Hall now with 10. His first points of the fourth. And 2 seconds past the 4-minute mark. They've done exactly what Coach Wester probably wanted them to do. A single-digit game for the first time since the first quarter.
It's doable now for Plano East. So you're saying there's a chance, and 9-point deficit. There's plenty of time now to whittle that down even further. Rare miss on the offensive end for Lake Highlands by Trey Johnson, and Plano East was able to convert that into points. It's tough for sometimes the team that's far ahead, but it's tough to maintain that emotional intensity. And now Lake Highlands is going to have to somehow recapture that. As now Plano East is within distance of the lead with 4 minutes left, just shy under 4 minutes.
I'd say at least three-quarter full here.
Oh, yes.
Moody Coliseum on the campus of Southern Methodist University for this great showdown. Of course, a lot of folks coming for the second game of our doubleheader.
Yeah, I see a lot of maroon and some navy and gold here for the next game, but it's also a lot of black and gold and red and black, Plano East and Lake Highlands.
Plano Highland Park, that's Act 2. We got something to decide here. Final 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, and a travel is going to be the call.
Oh, my.
So Lake Highlands lead now down to 9. A turnover there on the catch by Washington. The officials say he shuffled his feet. So Plano East with the ball, down 9, 3:56 left to go here in regulation.
You rarely see that call. They usually let the man receiving the ball stop his momentum and get his feet.
Driving baseline, kicks it back out. Hall thinks about a shot and put it in the hands of Shody Kavanagh. Back right side to Brewington. Comes off a Hall screen. Bounce pass. Hall spin move into the paint. Tries to drop it off, and a travel there by the big man.
Well, if you're a Lake Highlands fan, you think the basketball justice was served there by the travel turnover to make up for the one called on Lake Highlands a few moments ago.
Johnson to inbound.
Plano East pressure is giving Lake Highlands trouble inbounding the ball.
Big target in Alaton. He'll get it into the hands of Perkins. He'll bring it across the timeline. 3:33 left to go here, fourth quarter. Perkins starts to drive in. Loses his footing. Somehow keeps possession of the ball, and then he's fouled. Almost like the old schoolyard trick. Somebody got on all fours behind him, and he got pushed behind and toppled over.
Yeah.
But Perkins somehow was able to maintain possession and hold on to the ball.
Plano East coach Matt Wester was wanting a double dribble on that, and you can't blame him. It's really uncharacteristic for Lake Highlands to get a little bit rattled here. They do have the fortune of still having a 9-point lead, but the Wildcats have been in this situation before. They're a veteran team. Plano East only has 2 seniors, but the Panthers are obviously not going to go down without a fight here. They're making this a competitive game at the end.
5 starters on the court for Lake Highlands: Washington, Perkins, Hamilton, Alaton, and Johnson. In the red jerseys, 9-point lead, 3:10 to go here, fourth quarter. Alaton with a dribble. Fakes on a handoff, gets it to Johnson. Driving in on the wing, hop step, puts up an off-balance shot, can't get it to go. Rebound by DJ Hall. The sophomore clears it. Panthers into the front court. Miller, top of the key, kicks it right side. Brewington launches a 3. It's good! Isaiah Brewington now in double digits with 10.
Well, now suddenly Plano East heating up from the three-point range. That has been killing them all game, but when they need it most, they've made a three-pointer.
Perkins stopping, popping, three-pointer, splashes through, nothing but net. 4th three-pointer of the night for Quentin Perkins.
And this crowd is roaring now, back and forth.
Shody Kavanagh comes off a screen, starts to drive in. Euro fake, kicks it out. Hall, 8-foot jumper, good. Hall now with 12. 2:15 left to go. Alaton pass into him, hand off Perkins. Quentin with the left-hand dribble, brings it into the front court for Lake Highlands. Crossover, stops, hesitates, launches another 3. That one's side iron, no good. Great rebound by Alaton. He's going to go up strong, gets the contact, the foul. The shot won't go. But the Yale signee, the senior, will head to the line to shoot 2. Foul on Hall, his 3rd.
I was afraid Alaton was going to try to pass the ball back out, but you're a big man in that position. You got to go to the bucket and draw a foul or get the layup, one or the other. That's your role as a big man inside.
Samson Alaton, as smart a student as there is at Lake Highlands, but first free throw rims out, no good.
Alaton seems to be limping a little bit. Yes, he is a highly intelligent person as well as a great player.
Really funny guy, too. Great personality.
Yes.
Quiet guy, but when he says something, everybody listens. Usually laughter follows. Second free throw, nothing but net. 7 points for Sampson. Quickly to the front court, 1 minute, 50 seconds to go. 8-point lead. Plano East trying to cut into it. Top of the key, three. Back iron, no good. Rebound, put back, no good for Upkins. And then I think a jump ball is going to be called as Upkins and Alaton battling for it. Possession arrow pointing the way of the Panthers.
That was the right call there. That was a battle, and they both got their hands on the ball at the same time.
Plano East has gone small. Coach Duffield responds. Perkins back in for Jair Williams. Upkins beyond the three-point arc on the right side. Up top, Shody Kavanagh. Brewington comes off a screen, slips down on the court. Pass back out. Time ticking off. Inside of 90 seconds, we go fourth quarter. Shody Kavanagh comes off a screen, goes inside the arc, puts up a two-point shot, no good. A good rebound by Quentin Perkins. And now knocked out of bounds out of the hands of Washington by Mizell.
Plano East bench jumped. They thought they had another turnover there, but the possession remains with Lake Highlands.
77 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter. It's an 8-point lead for Lake Highlands.
Both these coaches are extremely animated. Coach Wester, Plano East, he's showing he's got some hops. And Coach Duffield, he's all the way out to the mid-court line yelling and showing his emotion as well.
Got to say how sharply the Plano East coaching staff is. Everybody in suits and ties. You can see it on the upper right of your screen. Looking good, gentlemen.
Pressure in the backcourt from Plano East.
Washington, baseball pass up ahead. Johnson to Hamilton. Layup up and good. Warren Hamilton's first 2 points of the night. Pushing it back up to a 10-point Lake Highlands lead.
Cool customers there for Lake Highlands. They showed how you handle that press and beat it.
Driving baseline, slowed down. Xavier Miller back up top. Brewington goes in, loses the handle, stolen away. Perkins has it, and a foul is going to be called.
Brewington fell backwards holding his mouth. I think he got popped by an errant elbow or something. Obviously, Plano East fans and Coach Wester want a call on that. Officials are meeting to discuss this.
They're going to call a foul on Brewington.
No replay here, but that's tough for Brewington. He gets called for the foul and he gets a shot to the chops. But the good thing is he seems to be doing just fine.
You can see the emotion on both sides. Neither team are going to back down whatsoever, and I think they're actually going to call a technical on Perkins.
Okay. Well, that's what the discussion was about. This is big bucket right here.
So Brewington at the line.
Ooh.
First free throw, no good.
Could have cut it to 8 with 45 seconds left. Now he still has a chance to cut it to 9.
Second free throw good for the junior. He's got 11 now in the game. So a technical foul on Perkins, common foul on Brewington.
And Plano East gets the ball because of
the technical.
foul.
Exactly. It would have been Lake Highlands' ball, but instead.
Essentially a turnover for Lake Highlands.
9-point lead for Lake Highlands. Plano East with the ball. 40 seconds and counting left to go. Bounce pass into the box. Hall kicks it back out. Brewington to Hall. Fakes on a three. Drives in. Goes strong. Finger roll. Looking good by Hall. He's got 14 now. Leading Panther scorer, the 6'6 sophomore DJ Hall, who, if the story I heard is correct, he grew up in Garland. And Trey Johnson, before moving to Lake Highlands, was in the Garland area as well. And those two went head-to-head multiple times at the middle school level. And if the stories hold true, Hall came out on the upper end of that more often than not against the number one recruit in the 2024 class in Trey Johnson.
Well, Trey might have weighed 80 or 90 pounds back then, and Hall would have had a height advantage probably.
But this is much bigger stakes than those middle school showdowns in the city of Garland.
Right.
Winner advances to the third round of the playoffs, and their dream of a state title stays alive.
Just can't say enough about the atmosphere tonight. This is electric. This packed house, Division I college arena, and two great programs, two great communities, and we've got a good game here at the end with 29 seconds left.
Want to give a shout out. This whole thing was put together by the Plano ISD Athletic Department. Jeff Smith, their athletic director, and the smart move to say, you know what? We got two schools, district rivals that are a few miles apart in Highland Park and Lake Highlands. We got two of our own. Let's go where everybody wants to play. And they threw this whole thing together in the matter of 12 hours. It was really impressive.
And some schools wouldn't have agreed to that because this is essentially a home game for Highland Park. We're here in University Park, Texas, Highland Park School District. And but no, Highland Park hasn't played here this year as far as I know. And so why not play? It's a neutral court. It's a great venue, great sight lines, great lighting. I mean, it's a big-time atmosphere.
And above all that, what an experience for these kids.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
To get out here and play. Pass into Perkins. He's fouled, trying to pass it back to Johnson. And Perkins will walk the other way, some 75 feet, and head to the free throw line.
One thing I'm sure you know too, Thomas, that I really miss about the football playoffs is we don't have Texas Stadium anymore. I used to have those triple and quadruple headers every weekend during the playoffs. That was a great experience for the kids. Now so many of the early round games are played at home sites, home and home. It's just not the same.
My personal record was 7 games in a weekend broadcast from the old Texas Stadium.
Good heavens.
Pass comes into Alaton, who hands it off. Well, that is the 17th foul, so I misspoke a moment ago. Plano East wasn't into the bonus, or at least hadn't gone into the bonus for Lake Highlands yet. So now we'll go for a 1-and-1 the other way in Trey Johnson. But to complete our point, it really was special being there.
Oh, yeah.
You can get close to the action, unless you're in the broadcast booth and you're in the rafters. But
yeah. Well, you know, they used to play a lot of high school playoff games here, big matchups at Moody, but they didn't bring out the lower bleachers on each side. The crowd was basically contained to the upper balcony, but now they've got everybody surrounding the court, getting right on top of the action, and it's just an amazing atmosphere here.
Again, great for the student bodies who are coming out to represent their teams as well. First free throw good. First points in the fourth quarter for Johnson. He misses the second. He's got 20 in the game. Pressure by Lake Highlands. Broken by Plano East. Three-pointer launched by Miller, and he hit it! 9 points now for Xavier Miller. Inside of 12 seconds left. It's a 5-point game. Foul is going to be on Brewington.
Great tribute to Plano East to make this a 5-point game at this point. I don't think there's enough clock left for them to complete the comeback, but
it's Plano East. I mean, You can never say never with Plano East.
That's true. Good thing they're not playing John Tyler tonight. They're playing Lake Highlands.
And they're trying to complete the comeback and hopefully hold on to it. Free throw no good for Perkins. 8 seconds left. Stolen but out of bounds goes Jair Williams.
Well, you don't want to help Plano East if you're Lake Highlands by missing free throws, but this is where the Wildcats find themselves. 7.5 seconds left, up by 5.
Brewington to trigger the inbound. Gets it in, turn, fade away, three-pointer, offside iron, no good. Rebound controlled. Baseline jumper good for Shody Kavanagh, and that's the way it's going to end. He has 8. They cut the lead all the way down to 3, I believe. Right now the scoreboard shows 2. Either way, Lake Highlands wins what turns into a thriller here at the home of the SMU Mustangs, holding off Plano East by a single possession.
Yeah, I don't think that was a three-pointer. It could be wrong, but they gave him credit for it on the scoreboard. 66-64. Lake Highlands dominant control of this game for all but the last few minutes, and now they're kind of lucky to get out of here alive.
Well, we talked about how tenacious Plano East is, how they wouldn't back down from a challenge. They dug themselves a hole down by as many as 19 points in the game.
Yes.
And somehow, Keith, put together enough of a run in the second half to make it too close for comfort for the Wildcat faithful here in attendance and watching at home.
If Plano East had hit the first three-point attempt on that last possession, we would have had some real issues because there's been enough time left. Plano East to steal the inbounds and really put some pressure on Lake Highlands. Now the Wildcats are going to get their second gold ball. They call this gold ball season, where the winner of each playoff round gets a trophy. It's the gilded ball. So, Lake Highlands, number 1 team in the state, survives a good challenge from Plano East. Now they look forward to facing Arlington Martin or Louisville in the next round, for the site to be determined.
Richardson ISD superintendent Tabitha Branham handing off the gold ball after a really hard-fought comeback attempt by Plano East falls just shy. Lake Highlands led in scoring for the second consecutive playoff game by the senior guard Quentin Perkins. He almost matched the effort he had the other night. He had 24 points tonight, including 4 3-pointers like he had on Tuesday. Behind him, Trey Johnson has 20. Jalen Washington with 11. Samson Alaton with 7 and 2 points each for Warren Hamilton and Jair Williams. So 66 points all told for Lake Highlands. About 8 under their average, as they came in averaging about 74 points per game. Plano East, meanwhile, what a comeback effort it was. Down by 15 at the break. They closed the gap, according to the scoreboard, to 2. So it can be said that Plano East outplayed Lake Highlands in the second half, but just too big a hill to overcome.
Yes. I thought Plano East had a run in them. If they had just started it sooner, we would have really had a fantastic finish. The score, the 2-point results at the end, deficit at the end, not really indicative. It wasn't that close of a game, but it got pretty tight there. Credit to Plano East, and I was expecting a competitive game. I think you and I were both a little surprised and disappointed that the first half was so imbalanced toward Lake Highlands. With Plano East, they proved their pedigree and made it a close game at the end. Now Lake Highlands, after a dominant win on Tuesday, they've got a tough win under their belt, which should help them going into the next round. They had someone actually put some pressure on them, which hasn't happened in a long time.
DJ Hall led the Panthers with 14 points, 13 for Jordan Mizell, 11 points for Isaiah Brewington, 9 points for Xavier Miller, 8 points for the Rich Shody Kavanagh. 3 points for John Tran, and 2 points for Corey Upkins. So 66-64 according to the scoreboard here. The final in this one. And everybody can exhale. Boy, I think the Panther fans were on the edge of their seat going, I think we could do it. And they came up 1 or maybe 2 shots away from pulling off a shocking comeback win.
Yes, they did. And I'm just trying to figure out where Lake Highlands' next game will be. It'd be great to come back here, but I'm not sure Louisville, Arlington, Martin would want to come to an arena that Lake Highlands has experience in. But it sure would be great to come back here. But, again, Lake Highlands, very similar to the Arlington Bowie game on Tuesday. They came out like a hurricane to just overwhelm the opponent. And in the second half, the opponent kind of got their feet under them and made it a little bit more of a contest, and certainly much more of a contest this time than on Tuesday.
So for the third straight year, the Lake Highlands Wildcats advance to the third round of the playoffs. It could be a rematch with Martin, who beat the Wildcats by 4 last year. Or maybe the Louisville Fighting Farmers
I know what
have their own upset in mind.
I can tell you what the Lake Highlands fans and players are probably on. They want to see Martin again, try to make up for last year's loss. But if Louisville somehow upsets Martin, I'd be wary of Louisville as well. And, of course, I don't want to look too far ahead, but if Lake Highlands wins the next round, they would go on to the Region 1 tournament, which would be a Rick Wilkerson Grimes Activity Center in Fort Worth, back-to-back games for the right to go to the state Final Four in San Antonio.
So the only real question is opponent,
and place.
Time, location, place. And you can stay tuned to our Twitter at Champion Sports. As soon as it gets pushed out there, we'll have it for you as well. Of course, LH Wildcat Club will retweet it as well, I'm sure. Let's get that information out there as quick as possible.
All on that. They'll probably play Tuesday, don't you think?
I would imagine. Every once in a while something weird happens with testing and whatever else, but I would imagine it's going to be a Tuesday night game, and, of course, we'll have all the details for you when they become available. So, special thanks to our broadcast crew here tonight. Connor Whitmire doing a great job, giving you all the sights here from Moody Coliseum. For my partner, Keith Whitmire, my name is Thomas Lee. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching UIL basketball on the NFHS Network, powered by Champion Sports Radio. Once again, final score, Lake Highlands wins at 66-64, advancing to the third round of the playoffs for the third straight year. And we hope to have that broadcast for you next week as well. Until then, folks, for all of us at the NFHS Network and Champion Sports Radio, Thomas Lee once again saying so long from Moody Coliseum.